Hey y'all, I have no idea why you came on here. I really have nothing to talk about. Oh wow, I'm not being led to talk about anything, at least not at the moment, not all day. So I guess I'll get on here, see if Brother Jack or Brother P gets on, and see if there's something they want to talk about. But until then, so I guess there is things to talk about. I didn't even really read news per se today. Mainly just because most of the headlines I couldn't believe what I was reading. Even if you told us a year ago that we'd be seeing the headlines as far as things being done, decisions being made, things being forced. Hey, Brother Jack, I was wondering if you were going to get on here. And I'll get back to that in a minute. You told us a year ago that we'd be seeing the headlines that we're seeing today. I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have believed it being told, oh, and by the way, you're still going to be here. I really honestly cannot believe the things going on in our country alone. And that's not including all the stuff that like Amir Sarfati is reporting on. And I find it interesting that that country, Azerbaijan, I repronounce it, probably butchering the name. I'm trying to say it based on, how my time in the Middle East, how I think they would have pronounced it. A country which nobody knew anything about, all of a sudden is just front and center of Middle Eastern news. I guess Iran's now, it started with Iran doing military drills with them, and now they're all pissed because Azerbaijan is making deals with Israel or whatever. And thing I gotta say is, watch, make sure, hand doesn't come back and bite you. And then the whole Middle East thing is just crazy. I did see an article where the Euphrates is drying up, which is, the levels are very low, and it is receding and drying up, which Revelation talks about where the Euphrates will become dry, so the kings of the east can move on to the Valley of Armageddon. So it's interesting that was pointed out in the news. And then, of course, the big elephant in the room, which is we have now in that next high watch time provided by numerous different watchmen and women, and I think I'm trying to track, they're all kind of starting to blend into one. 3 or 4 different mannerisms on how today and tomorrow, possibly through the 9th, is a high watch time for the rapture. Like I said, a lot of them watchmen and women, they're sticking, to whatever, thing that whatever mannerism or methodology that they got to that time, and they're sticking to that one. I'm trying to keep about 3 or 4 different ones separated, and it's not going very well. They're all just kind of melting into one. But anyways, the theory is right now, the Jewish clock is off a month. It's based on the Enoch calendar. Enoch calendar says this new full moon, which was spotted at 6:45 p.m. Israeli time, starts the true Feast of Trumpets. We will see. That window is now open, and one of 2 things is going to happen. We are either going to hear a trumpet blare over the next 24, 48 hours, or in 49, 50 hours, we're still going to be here. One of those two things. So we wait, we watch, and while we wait and we watch, we redeem and occupy the time. So that is where we're at. With the things going on in the United States, just go. I didn't even click on CNN. I really haven't touched CNN in months. Just go into FoxNews.com, which they're all propaganda machines. I would just go ahead and say it. Even Fox News. But just go to Fox News when you got a moment and look at that. Look at the headlines, and it is very evident that the United States is very well, as Perry Stone said, I think the other day, and I watched his video today. Perry Stone explained how America is now in the grasp of the Antichrist spirit, not the Antichrist, the Antichrist spirit. And he explains what all that is. I highly encourage you to go over to Perry Stone YouTube channel and check out his video where he explains how America is now in the grasp of the Antichrist spirit. After you watch that video, then go to FoxNews.com and just go through all the headlines, and you'll see it. It's ridiculous. I really, we're supposed to pray for our country and stuff, and I don't even know how to pray for the country, because it's just, you can pray, but at the same time, I know all this stuff needs to happen, so it's like, well, what do we pray for? And at the end of the day, it's, Lord, your will be done, whatever it may be. And if it isn't going to fix this country, then take us soon, because this is just getting stupid, and yeah, I'll leave it at that. What should I talk about? I'll give you a moment. Sorry, threw you under the bus. I can play some music in the meantime if I need to. I do have 30 Seconds to Mars going on. That's popped up in my Pandora. You don't know. Yeah, I don't either. I don't really honestly know why I came on here. I just say, hey, get on here. I'm like, okay. So I'm on here. I'm following. But aside from that, I know Las Palmas has come out. Las Palmas is not coming down. It's actually getting, it's getting stronger. I mean, it's not like going chaotic. But I think they got hit by another earthquake today, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with Las Palmas volcano. Japan got hit with some people are reporting a 6.1, others are reporting a 5.8. Either way, you know, 6.1 or 5.8, and then there was a 5.8 earthquake that hit Pakistan that killed 20 people, and so there's. Excuse me. You know, I said in past videos we'd see an uptick, and yeah, we're seeing upticks and all of that. The other thing that happened, Italy saw, a part in Italy saw over 2 feet of rainfall in less than 12 hours, which has never happened in Europe before. At the same time, I believe it was Monaco, had a cyclone that flooded part of their country, because they really don't see a whole lot of rain all year round. It's a desert land, whatever. And a cyclone formed and hit them, giving them way more water than they see in an entire year. And because they don't see that much water even in an entire year, it has caused severe damage. Go figure. So God said that in these times there would be increase in natural disasters as well as weather phenomenon, and those are playing right into it. So when scientists are sitting there scratching their head saying we don't understand what's going on, that should be an indication. The only place that seems to be able to answer it is the Bible. It's the only place. It's the only place that answers it and makes it make sense. So if you're a non-believer and don't believe in God or what Jesus Christ did on the cross, I highly encourage you to find a Bible, break it open, read Revelation, and maybe that stuff will start making sense to you. You'll be like, oh, hey, it's here, it's here. Hey, wait a minute, this is happening, this is happening. One world, the one world religion, Pope is getting full board on that. It's just craziness, just craziness. What's this? Share an unheard testimony. Okay. Unheard testimony. What? Like what? I think I've shared my testimony. I've shared my testimony a couple times. I think. Yeah, I did a video on it, and then I kind of briefly hit on it yesterday. Or what do you mean by unheard testimony? Let me ask that. Or a miracle that has happened to you. The fact I'm still alive is a miracle in and of itself. What do I mean by that? Well, I won't get into my earlier childhood. I was, it wasn't always the greatest, but God ended up seeing me through it. And I will say, when society was ready to write me off, saying I was going to have issues for all my life, and I'll keep it at that. God took me to my parents who adopted me, and even though me and my mom have had a falling out due to various reasons I won't get into, and we don't really talk anymore, she did see something that nobody else was able to see, and she told Human Services, before you do that and affect the rest of his life, give me 6 months. So she did. And 6 months later, she took me back to Human Services. Human Services couldn't believe I was the same kid. And I asked, well, what was the issue? He goes, he just needed some attention and somebody to just teach him things. The number of times I should have been killed. That ranges from car accidents to, in Bolivia, being a third world country, they have shower heads. And in the shower heads, they have electrical wires that are wrapped in them. The average Bolivian man is about 5'5", 5'7". I'm about 6'2". So, and I hit 6 foot, I think my 8th grade year, or I almost hit 6 foot by my 8th grade, by the end of my 8th grade year. So, I from middle school was already taller than the average Bolivian man. So I'd be in the shower, and like most people who shower in the morning, stretch, will loosen up, and of course I touch that shower head and get zapped with 220 volts. Get knocked down to the bottom of the shower, screaming. Of course, parents come running in. What happened? Tell them what happened, and they'd be like, "How are you?" Am I back? back. Did you lose me? Alright. So as I was saying, dumbest thing I ever did was me and my sister were playing. My dad had gotten us a foosball table, so we were playing foosball. And it was getting dark. It was getting dark, so I went to go turn, because it was outside in the back patio, and I went to go turn on a light that was overhead of us, and it wouldn't work. So me and my infinite wisdom at 7th grade, I think it was, decided, well, why, maybe the connection's dirty. I just need to check the light bulb connection. So I grabbed, keeping in mind I'm barefoot at the time, I grabbed a 50-gallon metal barrel drum, rolled it over to under the light bulb, stood on it, unscrewed the light bulb, and then proceeded to put my finger in the socket to clean it out. As you remember, I mentioned before, Olivia uses 220. I'm barefoot on a metal drum, and I touch 220 outlet. That thing shot me right off the metal barrel drum. My finger was black. My sister, just the tip of it was black. My sister started screaming. I'm stunned on the ground. My dad runs out going, "What the hell just happened?" So I explained what happened, and again, my dad's like, "How are you still alive?" Dad couldn't, and my dad was a nuclear engineer, so highly intelligent, and he was like, "You shouldn't be alive. You should be like dead right now." The only thing that happened was I had a little black mark on my finger that I wiped off, and then I was perfectly fine. Not even a burn mark. Not even a burn mark on my finger. So yeah, by the time before I was even done with high school, my mom had run out of fingers and toes, and then of course after I graduated, I've been in 3 more car accidents. Afghanistan about killed me, poisoning. Yet I still am here. Body's still functioning. Afghanistan, I still got all my limbs, no holes in me, nothing. I've had a couple of surgeries for herniated discs, and my hips messed up. But yeah, so those are some examples of how I should not be here, and going and coinciding that with kind of what I talked about yesterday in my testimony, looking back and understanding of these demonic attachments that I had, and how the person who helped me go through deliverance afterwards was like, they were trying to take you out. They were trying to kill you, and have been trying to kill you for a long time. Now it all makes sense. But God protected me, and I thank him for that, because all the times I should have been killed, had that happened, I would not have gone to heaven. I may have thought I was going to heaven, but like I said yesterday, knowing God, knowing Jesus Christ died on the cross, and believing those two things are completely different. I did not believe until about 2 years ago. Had anything happened to me before 2 years ago, I would not have been in heaven, which is why God gave me those dreams I explained yesterday, of me knowing I died in my dream and was on my way to heaven, but got turned away. So I thank God that he protected me all during those times. And for whatever reason, he wanted to keep me around. So I'm still trying to figure out why. Um, but I'm still here, and I'm hoping to hear that trumpet soon. So there's that testimony. And to anybody who doesn't believe that there's a God or anything, explain how all those things happened to me and how I'm still alive and not even broken bones, no marks, no nothing. There's only one explanation, and that is God, and God was looking out for me. So if you needed to hear some kind of miracle to think of or know there's a God, just think of this guy who has touched 220 at least half a dozen times and is still alive and didn't even have a permanent mark, just at one time had a mark that he wiped off. There's your miracles. So hopefully that suffices as unheard testimony. Thanks for that, Brother Jack. And on that note, I've got some things I got to do, so I'm going to get off here. And I'll say, if we're still here, I pray we aren't. I pray all these watchmen and women are right, and in the next 24, 48 hours we are out of here. But I'm not putting all my eggs in a basket. Plan for the rest of your life. Live each day like it's your last. If we're still here, I'll see you on the next video.